You're listening to Sensitive, Spiritual, and Successful, the podcast where we uncover ways to connect you back to your soul self and get you unstuck to find your flow again in life so that you can live out your full potential. I'm Jasmine Lynn, a former psychotherapist turned human design soul guide and EFT tapping success coach, and I'm here to show you how to love yourself through all your levels of growth. I know you're here because you have an impact you want to make in this world and you have a light to share, and I'm here to guide you through that journey because you deserve soul-aligned success. All right, let's talk about fear. So this week I asked people on my Instagram what they felt was keeping them stuck from moving forward. I asked before that if they had a dream that they wanted to move towards. And everyone who responded said fear. And I thought, okay, I'm going to make a podcast episode, a little mini one that goes over what you can do when fear is keeping you stuck. I know this feeling so well. Maybe like 3-4 years ago when I started to get on Instagram and try and put myself out there, I had a really hard time. Let's break down fear first, okay? So fear is a stress response in the brain, right? Brain and body, they are connected. You know, whether a threat is real or perceived, meaning you can think of something scary happening and your body will produce the physiological responses, right? The stress response. Whether it's real or perceived, that stress response will come on. And when you think about something you want to do, it's obvious that you can get stuck because of this fear, because you're thinking about it and it's really scary to you. You know, consciously you're like, I want to do this. And then when you go and do it, there isn't enough capacity in your body, your nervous system, to go and do that, you know, and underlying those things, you know, could be fear of being seen. That was a big one for me. Fear of being judged, fear of being criticized, all of these things, fear of not being perfect. There are a bunch of different fears and you can look at them more deeply. Like when you start to ask yourself or reflect, what am I really afraid of? And that is something that I would really suggest you do because it's more than just fear, right? There's something going on when you're kind of at this space where you are where you are, but you also feel this potential and you want to move towards it. Honestly, that was like the most frustrating part for me, going through what I've gone through over the years of trying to like build my own capacity. So I've learned that fear is always going to be a part of the process. It's how you bring yourself back into safety. So I'm not saying you need to go after these big dreams right away. I would say keep those dreams or keep that dream there, but I would encourage you to actually go slow so your whole body is on board. There is nothing worse, and I've done this, than trying to do something and it exceed your body's capacity to handle, whether that's like being seen or people reaching out to you or getting too much attention. If you're not ready for that, you could just go into hiding, right? Or you could just give up altogether or self-sabotage in some other way. And so that is why I say to go slow so that your whole body is on board, so that the fear you feel is manageable. And then you start to build this relationship with fear where you just trust that you'll be okay and that you trust that you'll be able to move through it. All right, before I keep going, I wanted to share this really cool event with you all. If you are local to Orillia or Simcoe County, there is a spiritual gathering with Asha Frost. She is a Hay House author, Indigenous healer, and she wrote You Are the Medicine. Asha will take us through exercises, guided journeys, and really encourage us to remember that inner guidance has always been within us. And I think that is going to be such a beautiful thing to be able to hear her wisdom and the practices and the teachings that she has in her book. She's going to bring it to life for us. So after that presentation, another really fun part that I'm excited about is that we get to join in on a networking event with other practitioners, or if you want to meet practitioners. I think we're all doing great work, but just getting to know each other and building that community, that sense of community, and just, meet other like-minded people. So if you are interested, I'm going to link it in the show notes. I really, really would love to see you there. And that is Saturday, May 11th. Okay, I'm going to dive in to talk about tapping. Tapping is so easy to use. I think we make it harder than it needs to be. And personally, I think sometimes we get in our heads about tapping and saying like, I don't know what to say, or I don't know how to tap. I'm going to tell you right now, if you can feel the fear in your body when you think about doing something, or you can kind of hear your inner dialogue about something that you want to do, like your inner critic going on and on about why you can't do it, why you're not good enough. If you can experience that, you really don't need to say anything when you tap. Just be in that experience. I just think sometimes we avoid doing the work. Totally normal, not here to shame anybody. It's like we avoid the things that are going to be good for us. So we make excuses. So if you can feel that stress in that moment, go ahead and tap. Tap it down. Do a few rounds. And what I mean by doing a few rounds is tap the points. You don't need to do the side of hand point. You can start at the eyebrow, side eye, under nose, chin, collarbone, underarm, and top of head. I was going through it in my own head without actually using my hands because they're cold. So overall, go slow so your whole body is on board with whatever it is you're doing. I think instead of being like, oh, that's so annoying that I always feel this way, look at it as an opportunity for you to face what it is you need to face, clear what it is you need to clear in terms of emotions and memories of the past. And that is your unique journey to go through that and do that inner work so that you can keep moving towards your soul's purpose. I remember, like I said, a couple of years ago when I had these big dreams, or so I thought. I saw other people doing it and I thought, oh, I want to do that. That looks like so much fun. You know, the internet, right? I've got a undefined head. Anyway, I dove right in. And what I learned was I didn't actually want to be seen. I was so afraid. And yet I got a business coach who was like, go on Instagram Lives and share your everyday life to build connection. And people will want to work with you if you do that and this and that. That has never felt aligned to me. And now knowing my human design, I understand why. But I will say, I am glad that I stuck with it. I mean, I didn't do what they said as quickly as they wanted me to do it, but I took the challenge on to see if I could get through my fears. Like I tried what I could to get over my fear of being on camera. I did what I could to be okay with hearing my own voice. I'm glad that I still took on that challenge because a part of me knew that, you know, I would be speaking one day and teaching and sharing, just not in that capacity that they wanted me to. It didn't feel right. It wasn't me. I don't like to share everything I do or like document everything I do. I like being in the moment and having those memories between me and my friends and my family. I'm a mom of a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I have a 6-month-old puppy. You can imagine the chaos I'm in every day. I am not creating peaceful content or like aesthetically pleasing content. I know people are like, oh, I want to see your real life. No, my house is a mess. No, you don't. I'm too busy to be hitting the start and stop video button anyway. Never mind knowing where my phone is at all times. I lose it all the time in the house. So yeah, that's just me and my life. And like I said, it didn't work for me, but I didn't let that stop me. I still went on to learn the skills I needed, or the skills that I felt that I would need. So like I said, build capacity in your body and your nervous system. And, you know, when you start to do that, It would also require you to rewire some of your subconscious beliefs, right? For me, one of my beliefs was I didn't feel safe being seen. When I was in university, I was followed off the bus. The guy said he knew I took this bus all the time and that I got off at this stop and that he needed to hide in my house because some people were after him. I mean, I don't know if it was true or not, but I was very, very creeped out. And to me, that was traumatic. And so when I tapped on the fear of being seen, a lot of these random experiences popped into my mind, and I had to tap down the stress I felt around that experience. And that helped build the capacity I needed to be able to say, okay, no, it is safe to be seen. You know, I am safe now. I don't need to live in that past and that experience. And, you know, that's how you know you're healing, right? You know that you're clearing emotions, neutralizing emotions even, when you are able to not have the same physiological response to a memory. So when you think of something stressful, it builds that physiological response, right? There's that perceived threat. It's activated in your body. But when you are able to go through an event or an experience and not have that same physiological response, that is when you are rewiring or neutralizing, whatever you want to say. That is when you are moving towards healing. That is essentially trauma therapy, right? You know, you're rewiring your response to stress. So tapping can do that. As you start to look at how to build more capacity, you can tap on the fear that you're feeling. Then you can kind of get specific on the fear that you're feeling. Is it fear of being seen? Then if you tap on that, if you don't have any like memories right off the hop, if you tap on that, you might realize, oh, this is where I've been feeling this fear of being seen because this happened to me once. And just kind of follow that. And of course, if there's an experience or memory that is too much for you to tap through on your own, I would highly suggest finding a professional to tap with so that you can start working on that, because that is the game changer. Honestly, build your capacity in your body, clear what it is you need to clear, but also practice. Okay, you know, you're not just going to clear the fear and then start a podcast and then like you're really good at speaking. The first couple episodes are not going to be that great, and that's okay. It's all right to accept yourself where you are, right? Before I dove into my human design book, I actually started writing like 3 or 4 books. I have a children's book, which I still think is awesome. I should share it one day. And I started writing other books too. I just put it into action. The universe loves when you put things into action. I was listening to Dr. Bruce Lipton, one of his interviews, and he talks about, you know, it's not enough to have this conscious thought of like, I'm going to be an author one day. And you just kind of like, I'm an author. It's when you take action, intent moved into action, that is what causes the energy field to feel the shift, right? You're that shift, and therefore the universe is shifting itself. So take action. Take any type of action. And if you're like, oh, but Jazz, I don't know what I want to do, but you know that you're kind of meant for something more, explore. You know, ask the universe to show you some signs. I have this fun story of like all the synchronicities that led me to tapping and then human design. Like I just followed the signs, the breadcrumbs. Do I wish that it just dropped into my lap and I could have started this, 3-4 years ago? Yes, I wish the universe just gave it to me. But now I see the process that I had to go through to get here to be able to talk about human design and tapping with the enthusiasm that I do have. Now I see why it was like little by little, I followed it and tried it, of course, as a third line would. And then, now I'm here sharing what I want to share, sharing my practical solutions. So if you don't know what you want to do, don't commit and decide from the mind. Just use the mind to dream up some things and then check in with your body with what feels good, right? Like I said, follow those little breadcrumbs that expand your body instead of contract. Oh, I have an example. So when I was doing my doctorate in counseling and psychotherapy, I felt this urge to like teach or like just help in a different capacity than one-on-one. And I kind of always felt that. I just didn't know what it was going to be. And so I looked up mindfulness-based stress reduction. I bought a course. I bought the book, being certified to run like these groups for it. And I'm like, why? I just decided with my mind. And then when I was doing it, I'm like, this is terrible. And I just wasted like $500. Like, what am I doing? So yeah, don't commit and decide right from the mind. Like, check in with your body. I felt like I was so rushed and so disconnected that I just felt like it almost felt like that flight response. I just needed to run away from what I was doing and pick something else and do it. Definitely do not recommend. So I would just research some things, give yourself some space to kind of explore what feels good. Talk to people who may be doing what you're interested in, kind of get more information, send out an email or two if they have any like feedback for you or course recommendations. That's what I would do if I didn't know what I wanted to do, but knew that I was meant for more. And that's it for today's episode. Please share it with anyone else who wants to learn more about human design or anyone who may be on their personal growth and spiritual development journey. You can DM me on Instagram to talk about what resonated with you, what you learned about yourself. I love hearing about human design in real life, so I really appreciate those conversations. And if you would like, you can leave a comment, a review, a rating, and subscribe to the podcast. That support means the world. Thank you so much for listening. I know time is a valuable currency. Take care.